Okay, hi everyone. My name is Nav, the way they call me. Okay, about today's session is all about filters, not about listeners. So we will discuss about filters. Now, when you talk about filter, what now? How do you describe it in a very in a layman language? How will you say that? Could you write on the chat window, or somebody want to speak up? Can do that too. How do you describe a filter? What is the purpose of a filter? On the chat window, please. Would like to see some of your thoughts. Okay. Somebody has really something you want not to pass through. Yes, exactly. Netaji, is my voice is clear now, or should I go for a separate headphone? It's better. Okay, thank you. Somewhat clear. Oh my God. Something Dharmendra said, something you don't want to pass through. Okay. The purpose of the filter is to modify the request of the. Yes, Uma said in a very technical language that purpose of the filter is to modify request and response. Now, take an example. Suppose you are going into for an interview in a company. What happened? There will be once you reach at the office, there will be a guard at the gate who will ask you about maybe receptionist at the place. So they will ask you that what is the purpose, who you want to meet. If you do not have a necessary permission, you will not be able to go through. And you have to register your name, your phone number, or whom you want to meet, what is purpose. So you have to sometimes do the entry also. And if you are okay through that asking process, if you are okay with it, then you are allowed to go through and meet the person you wanted to meet, or else they will say that that person you cannot meet due to some XYZ reason. Just hold on, I will get another headphone. Raj, are you there? Hello? Yeah, somebody has raised. Okay. Yeah, Netaji, you wanted to speak something? Yes, I have unmuted you. You can ask me question directly. You can speak out.
No, but I was not able to hear your voice much more clearly.
Is it okay now, or should I go for another headphone?
Yeah, it's now. Please can you speak like much more louder. That was enough, somewhat.
Okay, thank you. I will try to be louder as much as possible. Yeah, thank you very much.
No, enough. This kind of sound was enough.
Now, when if you are okay with the the reception, whatever they have asked, or the guard, whoever, security guard, whoever, whatever they have asked, if you are okay with all the basic necessary things, they will allow you to go through and meet the person you wanted to meet, or they will say that sorry, you cannot go through because you have not met all the necessary security requirements, so we will not allow you. The same that is more in a layman language, as we have faced those things in a daily thing. Similarly, in a web application also, if a user, whoever wanted to access our application, if he or she is not an authenticated user, then they may not be allow you to go through. That is, we can call it as an authentication filter. There could be other purpose also, like sometimes you may say that website is not responding in a proper manner, means it is response is very slow. So you would like to put a filter in front of the required service, that how much amount of time does a resource, could be a servlet or could be a JSP, takes time to respond to the appropriate request. That could be a performance. Filter is used for many purposes. So let's go through the slide and find out what it is and how they work. Let me put it in a full screen mode. Hold on. Here it is. Now, filter, what happens is, filter intercept the request. Similarly, the way security guard or receptionist, they intercept the request from your side before it gets to the required resource or the required person you wanted to meet. A response is returned to the client through the filter. So, you go through a reception, you normally come back also the same. The way you have entered, you come back through the same process. So, those are the things. So, you send a request that is received by the filter first, and then you get an appropriate resource. Similarly, it's like, uh, you know, first in, last out, something like that. So, let's see a diagram here. You say a client who's a browser, they will send a request and they want this servlet to be accessed. So I am presuming that you know something about servlets. So teaching servlet is not uh, the purpose of today's class. So it's about filters. So as soon as request goes, so it get received by the filter first, find out is the request is genuine enough and what purpose, all those things. And if it is okay, it will allow you to have access to the servlet, and whatever servlet execute, it will return the response. It goes back to the filter again, and the final response is reached to the browser. That is what filter does. Now it could be, I'm talking about authentication filter. Now filter could be used for other purpose also. Now suppose this servlet is trying to access some other website through a web service. So you must be knowing what web service is. Someone has opened the functions for you, you call it and you get the response. So whatever the response that comes from that website or through that web service, you're not happy with it. You mean to say that the content is less or the formatting is not good. I want to format it in a proper manner, or maybe I want to change some of the content. I want to add some of the content. So what filter can do is, it can change the content of that resource as well, because you don't have any control on that website. Only thing is, whatever data you get, you can modify that data. That also can be done by a filter. So let's go through some of the other concepts also. Now you can have more than one filter, like first filter is for authentication, second filter is for performance, third filter could be for logging. So there could be different filters which you can create and use for different purposes. Similarly, you can have, like here there are 4 filters, but accessing the servlet 1, you need only 2 filters to pass through. For accessing servlet 2, you need 3 filters to pass through, F2, F3 and F4. For servlet 3, you need F1, F3 and F4. So it is up to you that which filter you want to put ahead of any servlet. That is totally depend on the client requirement. Have you understood the basic concept? Any question before I go for the demo session? Yes, someone has asked. Let me see. Any question, please? Yeah, Netaji, you have some question?
No,
Okay.
you can carry on.
Any other question, please? Okay. Now we are going to create some of the filter, and let's say that we are going to put authentication filter, and let's create an application first. I'm going to create an application, a web project. We are working on Java EE6, so it is module version 3.0, servlet is 3.0. So I am going to create a filter demo app. So that's okay. So we are going to use Apache Tomcat 7. So web.xml, as if someone has worked on Java EE6, they may be knowing that web.xml is optional, but we are going to include it to show some of the features of filters. Now, filter demo app. So I'm going to create here a servlet. So I'll say some servlet. Put it at the wrong place. So this is the class name. So I'll say here as com.whizlabs servlets. So URL mapping, anyway, this is the way to access some servlet, or you can change it if you wanted to. I will say any name I want to put, maybe something like this. That's okay. So I'm going to include only the doGet method here, not for anything else. I'm presuming that you know something about servlet, so that I don't waste time here. So I don't need all these things. Is this visible enough, or should I increase the font? Yes, please. I'll increase the font a bit. General appearance, colors and fonts, Java editor. So, now this is a simple servlet which can be accessed with the extension known as sum. So when I right click on it and run it, and let this run. Now everybody can access it. So that is fine now. If you don't have any filter, anybody can access it. Now what we want is, whoever want to access this servlet, they have to go through some filter, as we saw in our previous diagram. So we want some filter in front of the servlet. So let's see that. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a serve filter, and then I will go for the theory part as well. So how do you create a filter? Just right click on it, go to new, you will have a filter, and maybe com.whizlabs.filters, any package. So I'll say maybe first filter, maybe filter A, something like this, or filter B, whatever you want. So that's okay. Now, what happens is when you say, okay, this is package name, this is filter name, or you can say maybe authentication filter or something authentication filter. Is it a valid user or not? So I'll say authentication and parameters. Anyways, we are not getting into details. So URL pattern, you can use anything. Now what you are going to use here, we will see that. We will change it later on. We have to change this. Now that filter, whatever class you have created, it implements a class which is in Java EE6, interface known as javax.servlet.filter, and by default it has three methods known as init, destroy, and doFilter. Init for initializing the filter, destroy for destroying a filter, doFilter is to do the other processing, whatever you wanted to do. So let's create it. Now it has come to this part now. Constructor, if you want to do, you can do that, that's okay. I'm not worried too much about this. Place your code here. So whatever you wanted to do, you have to do it here. Now this is init method. It initializes the initial filter config. So we will create an object here, filter config. So let's say here, this dot. So I have initialized a filter configuration, which comes. Let me show you that too. Now let's see how that works here. Anyway, this is flow. I'll talk about it once I do it. So you have many ways of doing it. And so filter configuration, which is required to do the basic process and some functionality. You will see that too. Now, here you would like to do some. Now, what I'm trying to do here in this slide. So just to, if I, okay, let me show you this. Now, when a browser send a request to this servlet, how will the filter knows that that person is trying to access this servlet? Now this is what we wanted to do. As we have seen earlier, let's run that again. So we know that this is a URL pattern which we added here in some servlet. So through this URL, we filter should know that a user is trying to access this servlet. This URL pattern everyone trying to access. So what we do is, as soon as someone try to access that servlet, we want this filter to come in front of that. So we will write the same URL here as well. Now this servlet should, this filter will come in front of that some servlet. So that URL has to be same. Whenever you implement create a filter here, that means a URL which is this URL, a servlet URL who is trying to access it, that same URL should be of filter that to intercept the servlet request here. Let's see the example here, and let's write something. Anyway, I'm writing it. Anyway, just to show you that, maybe I'll say entering into filter. As we know, according to this diagram, our servlet request will enter and the response will go up. So What this does is, now chain.doFilter, what happens is chain.doFilter will pass the request to the appropriate servlet. So this is in between, before after the servlet request, chain.doFilter which passes the request to the servlet, and after chain.doFilter do all the job. So you can write something after it. So I'll say here I can say exiting into the field, exiting out of it, exiting out. So this is the request which I wanted to pass. So now when I run this servlet, let's do it. It is entering into the filter. So as soon as someone has requested for this some URL, filter knows, okay, someone is trying to access this servlet. So I have intercepted that request. Now I have to execute this do filter. This is just to create the response. To write it onto the to write it onto the browser, I need to have some sort of print writer. So this is what I have created it, like system.out.println. So here I'll say print and entering to the filter. Now this will pass the request to some other servlet, whatever request they have accessed it, and then you can say exiting out of it. Okay. Any question here, please? Let's do one more thing here. Let's create a simple HTML page. So I'll say index.html. So here I will create form. So I'll access some here, some which I wanted to access. So I will create input. So I'm now what I'm trying to do is I've created an authentication filter. So I will check out now that if user has a proper username, then request should go through. Otherwise, request will not go through. So I'm going to create a username and password. So I'll say type here text. Yes, some user has to be created here. That is a long route, but anyway. So I have to modify that as well. Anyway, let's not go through this. It will take a lot of time, so I'm not doing it. Now, what I will do here is I will enter something. I will say string username is equal to Viz, and string password equal to ABC. So I'm just trying to modify these two. So here I'll say if username dot equals, if username dot equal is Viz and password dot equals suppose ABC, then I will say that chain.doFilter. Chain.doFilter, as we already discussed, it passes the request to the appropriate resource. If there, then pass on the request, else here I can say maybe so I can say here is sorry, you are not a user, something like that. So this chain dot do filter, actually what it does is it passes on the request to the appropriate resource. This is what is required if you want to pass your request. Otherwise, it's not going to pass. Let's do that now. This out will still remain the same. It's not going to make any difference now. Still the same. But what happens if I change it to ABC1, suppose? So now I will run this again. Entering into the user. Now it says, sorry, you are not a user here, and exiting out. So now what happened is request came for something known as sum, that is the sum servlet, and it checked on the actual username and password. So this could come from a HTML page, anything. So I have not gone through it. So username equal just checked out. If it is same, then pass on the request to the appropriate servlet, which is some servlet. Otherwise, just block the request here. So it says just we don't have chain dot do filter. That means request will not go forward. It says please close the request and return the response back to the servlet to the user as it is already there. Sorry, you are not authenticated user. So earlier the request comes from the servlet, some servlet, so that's why you see this servlet demo here. Now the request hasn't reached to it. See the URL, see the title hasn't changed. It's just the basic one. So anyway, we have not used it. Have you understood? Any question here, please? Let me look at the chat window. Yes, some question. Okay. How will you receive whether it is a request filter or a response filter? It's not about a request filter or response filter. There was another term which is known as request wrapper and response wrapper. HTTP servlet, HTTP request wrapper. There is a servlet request wrapper and servlet response wrapper. Those things can change your URL. Suppose a response filter. Maybe whatever the content you have got, you can suppose you have got data from a servlet in a lowercase, you could change it to uppercase. That's the response which you are sending, modifying the response. Second one is request wrapper, HTTP servlet request wrapper, which can take the request from the user. Suppose that URL does not exist anymore. So what filter will do is it will catch that request and find out that this request does not exist, and it pass on to some home page. Maybe you must have seen now when Sun was overtaken by Oracle, some of the URL of Sun microsystem does not work. Now it goes to some Oracle website. So what filter will do is it will catch the request and send it to an appropriate place. Uma, is your question answered? Filter is a filter. Now what you are talking about is actually a wrapper. Okay, you want to speak out? Let me give you the access to speak out. Just hold on. Someone else. Yes, Uma, please speak out now.
Thanks for the session, first of all.
Your voice is very, very low.
Okay.
Yeah, please speak out.
Is it better now?
Yeah, bit better. Anyway, I'm trying to hear you. Just please speak.
Okay. My question here is like some of the filters can be applied only on the request, on the request coming in, and some of the filters can be applied only on the response, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we specify whether it should filter the response or the request? is there any way to distinguish between that? It should filter only the request coming in or the response going out?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. There is a class. I can't do it over here, but there is a class which is um, what you're talking about is. Let me type here and show you something. Maybe request. There is two type of things, HTTP servlet request wrapper and HTTP servlet response wrapper. So whatever, suppose I'm talking about request. Now when the request that comes out, it will just pass on the request to any other filter you wanted to do. So that could be the case of your uh, request filter. And similarly, you have a response wrapper. We are not going to do it here, but there is a request response wrapper. So whatever the response that comes from a servlet, so whenever it meets through a filter, that response could be changed to modify the data which you have got. Suppose you got the data in a lowercase, it could be modified to uppercase and give the data back to the user. Now it is not as let me discuss one more feature here. As you were saying, that request filter. So this request has to go through a filter. Whenever request goes through it can pass on the data, pass on the request. It can dispatch the request to some other servlet as well and get the data back. But you cannot take out the filter in between, like you go through this and go somewhere else and you cannot come back through that filter. You have to come back through the same filter. So that is a feature of what is known as HTTP servlet request and response. You can filter the request accordingly and you can filter the response also accordingly. That's known as wrapper access. I'm clear here. Yes, Uma?
Hello, I'm still not very clear, but I need to dig it out and then find out, because
Please,
my question is like.
I really got your point. If you say that the filter is applied on a request, that request should go through or not. So you can pass on with the dispatcher to some of the appropriate request. You can modify the request. Let me tell you, there is if I talk about here, let me show you that. I'll not show in detail, but I'll show it for you. HTTP request. Request 1 I'll take out is equal to HTTP servlet request. So now what you can do is here request dot get let me get servlet config I think so. There is a way you can get a URL. Port address URL. Get servlet no. There's a way you can get the URL and you can change the request of the URL. I forgot the name of the function, but you can get something out of it. Get remote request. Get dispatcher type. And this is not looking. Okay, sorry. Request one dot. I think it gets servlet path. So let me see. Get request URI. So get request URI, what will give you? It will give you this. It will give you this, and after that you can modify this request to maybe some other URL, and it can pass the request to some appropriate request which you wanted to do. So by this way, what you can do is you can pass on to any other servlet, and then this filter does not come into picture. Directly you will get the response of whatever request you wanted to pass on. Through this, what you can do is you can change the URL of the request. So that's how you can see it as a request filter. So you get the request, modify the URL, change it to another thing. That's what you can do. But for that you need to apply something known as request filter or request wrapper or sublet wrapper. I hope I'm clear this time, Uma.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, there is one more question. Let's go through that question again. I think Dharminder asked it, if I remember. This is not the URL. Yeah. So, Dharminder, can you please repeat? Okay, you sure? Why not? If the record is yours, then will come first, then any filter. That Dharmendra, actually the wrapper is called within the servlet itself. We have not gone through the demonstration here, but that's what you can do. You have to do through the filter. So first, anyway, servlet will be mapped. And apart from the request flow again through the code, yes, we can do that again. So what happens is first the request lands for some. So some will be intercepted by the filter. It will write something entering the filter. Entering the filter, we are checking out some username and password. If it is okay, chain.do filter, what does it? It will pass on the request to another servlet. Suppose, if I disable it, I have enabled this, both are okay, but I have not done do filter. So that means my request is not going to pass through, although I am correct, because I have disabled it. This is the chain.do filter, means keep on chaining it till I reach my appropriate resource. That's what chain.do filter do. So once I run it, entering into filter, exiting out of filter. Although everything was correct, there was nothing wrong with it, but I have not enabled this. This is required to chain. Chain means, let me do it according to next diagram. So what happens is, if I have suppose 3 filters and I'm accessing this servlet. So first the request will run to F1. Chain.do filter, it will, if there are more than one filter applied on that servlet, so it will pass on to the filter 2, it will pass on to the filter 3, and chain.do filter keep on passing on till you reach the appropriate resource, and the response goes back to the web browser. Dharmendra, I hope I'm clear here. Please write it on the chat window if you are okay, or you can ask question. Yes, Yes, it's fine. Okay, great. So that's one filter. Suppose you can have more than one filter as well. So maybe I'm creating another filter. So I'll say B filter for some purpose. I'm just writing it B filter. So now, if you want to apply in front of that some sublet which has a URL known as sum, you have to apply some here so that it goes accordingly. Finish it. So I'm just copy pasting this same code here. So I'm not doing it this time. So into B filter, I'll just write it like this. So now what happened is, as soon as I pass my request, let's do it and see the output of it before I go forward. Sorry, it was not filter will run, it's the servlet which runs. So entering into the filter, which is authentication filter, then according to this diagram, let's look at it. So F1 is our authentication filter. It reached to the filter, this one. It passes on the request to the next filter in the chain, so F2. And after that, F2 does pass on the request to the servlet, which is this servlet. And the response goes back. It comes to the, which is the last one, it's the B filter. So it's exiting out of B filter and exiting out of authentication. That's how the process flows. Similarly, now what happened? Now this is annotation based. So what happened is it goes accordingly to the alphabetical order. It's A and then after B. What if I wanted to run my B filter first? Now you can't do anything in this case. So servlet annotation based does not have that feature. So for that we have to write some code here into your web.xml. So if I wanted to run that way, so I'll say I have to write filter first. I have to write the configurations here. So, filter. So I have to write filter class. So I'll say com.whizlabs. Let's write the name of this filter. You have to put a filter name. Anyway, I'm going a bit fast in this case. So some filter. You have to write the filter name as such. So URL pattern as we all know is sum. Similarly, let's define B filter here. Sorry, I can't explain you that how this filter mapping this one is done at this point of time. Now, what happened is you can define the filter in two ways. This was the old way. Till Java EE5 we used to write it this way. But with Java EE6 you can write it this way and with annotation. This is the first time annotation came into picture in Java EE6. So here what I have done is, now what web.xml does it, whichever is declared first, that will be executed first. So here B filter is written first, so that will be executed in that format. So let's do that. Filter mapping specific unknown filter name BB. Let's see that. Okay, sorry. It has to be the same name. Some has already been given by this. What is the error? Probably I have to remove. That is not the problem of let's do a full publish and try to do it again. Sometimes this one can create problem for you. Bad.
The class name is wrong in the filter name. You can check the web.xml.
Really?
Hello?
Let me. Yeah. Com
The
dot.
web.xml. Yeah, com.whizlabs.filters. That is missing.
Oh.
Filters dot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Maybe let's write this name also if it is wrong somehow. Yeah. It's actually executing it 2 times this filter as well. You don't need this here. So let's run it once again. Yeah, here it is. So I have changed the now order. So whatever written in this one. So first here, if I look into the web.xml, I have declared the B filter first instead of authentication. So that's exactly output which I am getting. B filter, then it goes to servlet, it goes out of the filter and goes out of the B filter. Any question here, please, before I go for some questions and answers? Now, let's go for some questions here and find out. Before that, let me write the uses of the filters. Filter can be used for authentication, blocking the request, as we just saw one example. You can log whatever the request comes out. You can log into some file. You can use it for image conversion. You can use for data compression. Maybe request can come from any part of the globe. You have to change it accordingly. You can transform the response. This is what I was talking about for the response wrapper. You can even measure the performance, that how much time that servlet took to respond to you. Now, this question, tell me what could be the answer for this question? Third question, please.
That's a filter.
Okay, right, A filter. So please, others also. read about this. Just hold on, please. Okay, someone later he said it's B. Shyam Khan said 4B and fifth also B. Okay, he has given two answers. Okay, others also please speak out. Why can't I change this? This is creating problem for me. Okay, yes, Ramin, Shriram, Ankush, Ambrose. So, okay, Uma has said 4B, 5B is 4. Okay, so let's see the answer for the third. Third is filter is declared using element in the deployment descriptor. Actually, your deployment descriptor is your web.xml. How you declare it is using the filter. So the first is answer A. Second one, what are the parameters of do filters in the filter interface? Okay, filter interface. So answer which I got, let's go for the do filter method and see what it does. So you have servlet request, servlet response and filter chain. These are the three parameters. So accordingly, answer was A, not B or C. Let me see the window here. So for answer for 4 is A. Yes, Shriram Kale has given the right answer here. So answer for 4 is A. So what are the methods of filter interface? Let's see how many have given the right answer. Fifth is B and B. So almost all of them has given the right answer. So answer for this is B. Now, what is the sequence of method execution in the filter? Sixth question, please. I have 2 more minutes to go. Please quickly. Answer is A. Yes, answer is absolutely A, because first you initialize the filter, then do whatever you want to do in a do filter method, and then you destroy it. Let's go for the next one here. Just go for eighth question, which is a better question than the seventh one. Yes, answer for this question, please. Eighth. Star means any URL as just let me put you in the web.xml. Some is the just to access this some servlet. There could be ABC servlet also. So for that you need to write ABC. So if you want that same thing should be accessed by everyone, put a star. Star means anything that get accessed, filter will be applied. Okay, now let's see the answer here. Yes, Dharmendra has given A. Okay. A is Uma. Ramin also has given A answer. So yes, it's the answer for this is A. That filter is valid. So whenever my filter get accessed, so our filter will be fired. So whenever that so suppose some servlet or some other servlet is accessed, this my filter get fired and it get executed. Root context is means as soon as your web application get loaded, just let me show you that here. Suppose this is my app, I run it on a server. This is my root context. Okay, root context is actually accessing this index.html file, I believe. And if I pass on, this is my root context. So anyway, it hasn't accessed that servlet at all. So each time that this one is accessed, every time this root context is to not be accessed. So it is whenever you access a filter, so that will be accessed. Request dispatcher is used when you pass from one servlet to another servlet. So at that time it will be accessed. It depends on how you have configured it. And it says filter mapping is invalid. No, it's not invalid. So this is correct. Any other question, please, before I give the access to Raj? I think Raj, you can take back the access. I don't see any more question in the question panel.